You are now listening to the Purpose Addicts podcast.
You got to be willing to be vulnerable. You have to have the ability to self-assess, and not everybody has the ability to self-assess.
You don't necessarily have to like school to be successful in school. You just have to know how to play the game and finesse it a bit and get through it.
Welcome to the Purpose Addicts podcast. This is a short yet powerful conversation designed to help you do 3 things that can ultimately change the trajectory of your life. 1, discover your purpose. 2, walk in your purpose. And 3, ultimately fulfill your purpose. I am your host, Coach Vic, and I'm joined as always by my lifelong friend, my brother, the educator, Dr. Shane Calhoun.
We are both in new jobs. How is your job going? And what have you learned?
Man, I'm still in that new job honeymoon phase, I know for a fact. But at the same time, it is already pushing me and challenging me in the ways that I expected it to.
I said the exact same thing to my deed the other day. I walked in the office and I said, Dr. Coleman, I feel like I'm on the honeymoon. And she said to me, well, sugar, you know honeymoons don't have to end, right? And this is the thing that has been blowing my mind. Why I've said it several times kind of passively, but I've avoided saying it because I don't want to feel like I jinxed myself. Or when the honeymoon ends, I'm like, damn, best decision I've ever made in my life. Wow. This job change. And I keep looking over my shoulder for it to go bad and left. And I can't fight the dog. There's been times where I just sit in my office and I'm like, I get paid to do this. And it's like, I literally just look, I sit around and I'm like, yo, this is, and you know, I think people mistake, like, you know, life could be good and you can still have problems, right?
For sure. So
something pops up at the job that you don't like. It ain't about the problem, it's how you perceive the problem. Like, is it just something or is it a thing? You know what I'm saying? So I totally understand the honeymoon. Totally understand.
Again, back to that, you got to protect you from you. Simon Sinek talked about downhill skiers going through trees extremely fast. He say, think about it. When they go through them, they are not looking at the trees. They're not saying, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree. Because why? If you focus on not hitting the tree, what you're going to do? You're going to hit a tree. He said what they focus on is path. So I caution you and me and everybody else who gets into a situation that may feel like it's too good to be true. Don't keep looking over your shoulder like something going to happen, something going to happen, something going to happen. Because you know what? Something's going to happen.
Yeah. Except that it actually is. Like it's very possible.
Yeah.
Where you are right now could be as good as you actually think it is. And
bro, I had a conversation with a team member, and he's been with the organization 2 years. And he said, we were having this conversation. He said, yeah, man, I'm not going to lie. When I first came on, I was like, is this real? Do people are they this casual just in the dress code? Like, is this real? He said, man, it is. I told him, I said, I was wondering the same thing. He said, man, it's real. Yeah. Everything you're seeing and feeling, this is real. Like everybody I talk to, this is real. I'm believing it.
My first couple of weeks, I'll say it as it is. I work from home certain days of the week. And my first 2 or 3 weeks, besides completely squandering the time and not using the time effectively, which is why I have 150 things in my grade box right now, I felt guilty. I'm like, supposed to be at work. Like, I'm supposed to be, no, you're supposed to be working. You're supposed to be working, but you know, your life, your job, your role, your position, your status is different now.
It's different.
You're
not as much of a tactician.
Yeah.
You're moving into a strategist, and it is a dope feeling.
It's a dope feeling, bro. It's a dope feeling, man. So got a question for you.
Okay.
So I totally did not take offense to the comment, to the message earlier this week. Didn't at all, not in the least bit. But when I read it, it was one of those, nah, bro, that ain't it. It was one of those. So I think, but it's definitely worth the conversation.
Well, the root of when I sent you that, immediately when I finished that call, I was like, see, my dog could be getting money like this.
I figured.
You already knew, like, why can't he quote that? Why? I mean, he is, in my opinion, is more qualified, more credentialed than me. Like,
I figured. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when I look at or when I think back to the times that we've had those conversations, like, bro, like, why don't you just shoot the number and see what they say? Shoot a number like this and see what they say. And you go back and forth about, well, I could, if I don't shoot as high, I could get a twofer possibly, you know, with an opportunity, or I'm thinking about the future and being able to come back and be a speaker with them again. So in my mind, I'm like, is he lowballing himself by diminishing or minimalizing his own value?
Gotcha.
That's where that came from.
And that's why I said, when you said it, and this is how fresh it was on my mind, because I ran it by another friend of mine, the actual text message. And what I've learned, I don't know, I've been on this very big don't be offended kick. And like, people just take, I don't know, I think we just find any reason to be offended about anything. And I think it's counterproductive to good conversation. You know what I'm saying? Everything is not a thing. Sometimes people just said something weird. Clean it up, move on, right? It's just that. Right. But when you said, when I read the text, I knew exactly what you were saying. And my response to you was, that's a false equivalency. And you said, no. You said, nah. then you want to know with something else. But a false equivalency, and I looked up the definition because we use stuff sometimes, don't always. A false equivalency is a logical fallacy in which an equivalence is drawn between two subjects based on false reasoning. So I understand what you're saying, but it was the example, and two, there's a whole lot of context. Could I shoot a super high number and be like, well, there's a couple things. Could I shoot a super high number and request that type of bread? And yes, I absolutely could. I was reading something the other day. Eric Thomas was saying when he didn't have a degree, he couldn't negotiate. When he got his bachelor's, he could negotiate a little bit more. When he got his master's, he could negotiate a little bit more. When he got his doctorate, there was no more negotiation. This was the price.
This was my number.
This was the number. The issue here with this is we could use a bachelor's degree. You get a bachelor's degree in education. You get a bachelor's degree in engineering. I got a bachelor's degree in education. We go to our first job. You can go and ask for $90,000 for an engineering job. I can't go ask for $90,000 with a teacher job. The most I'm gonna get is 50. And you know what I'm saying? And that's depending on where you are. So the first
who you are or where you are.
Yes. What do you mean?
I said who you are or where you are. You said that 50,000 depends on. I'm trying to get clarity. Where you are.
Yeah.
So you're saying that if you are in a different location,
yes,
you could get more than 50.
Yes, but it would be comparable to the cost of living. You see what I'm saying? Like,
which every job is like that.
Which is every job. Yeah, it's comparable. Like, I think the starting pay in Alabama is like, for teachers, is like 45 right out of high school.
So location matters.
Oh, hell yeah. You know, you go up to New York. Okay. The other day I was talking to my dad, and I was looking at. I got a response to this one. Go ahead. Okay.
Go ahead.
I was talking to my dad, and we was looking at the pay scale, and his based on my experience and degree levels, my salary would double in New York.
Yeah.
But you can't get a studio apartment for less than 3. So cost of living. So it's relative. So that it's that part. The market demands. Now I'm interested to hear your response because I've sat around on this for days and I just want to get something back. All right, go ahead.
All right. So location matters. The question is which location? Whose location? You in your location are basing your value off of that. But the request is coming from a different location. Let's say the request is coming from New York, where again, your salary would double there. So if the demand is coming to the supply, the value is not based on where the supply exists. The value is where the demand is coming from. So although 45 may be a teacher's salary in Alabama, New York wants you, regardless of you being in Alabama, and New York is used to paying and understands that you cost more. They went and got you. They came for you. You know what I'm saying? So you get to set your price, and you got to recognize location matters. It don't matter that I'm in Florida. It don't matter that I have a bachelor's degree versus a doctorate, like to ET's point. It's about how you see you. And it's not just your location. If it was reversed, if I'm in New York and somebody from Alabama is coming to get me to speak, am I basing my price off of Alabama? No, I'm basing it off of here. The location is up here. The supply and the demand.
I totally get that. But the problem is it's the market, because even if you go to New York, although the money will be higher, you'll still be scraping the bottom of the barrel because the salary is the salary is the salary. For this market, this is what you're getting.
I get that some industries, some markets have certain limitations on them.
Yeah.
And no matter who you are, you're only going to be able to pull so much out of them.
Okay.
I guess my point of emphasis is this. There's a negotiation between you and the market that has to happen, and you have to recognize your leverage within it, regardless of where you physically may be, regardless
100%.
of what you may have accomplished.
And I just went through that. I went through that with my current employer. It was a big negotiation.
Yeah.
And I was able to negotiate. I would be able to negotiate based on my qualifications and who I am.
Yeah.
Like I knew what y'all was coming with, but yeah, me. I'm me. You know, like we talked about me. So I'm not taking away. There are absolutely some places where that is a necessity, and where we have to do that as we are commodities and business people and whatever. But there's some people. But this is where the false equivalent. This is the thing with the false equivalency. Then at the same time, I'm building infrastructure, or I'm coming up with a plan, or I'm moving in direction, which will allow me to do the ultimate goal, which is hire other people to work with and for me.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas I can be in Montgomery,
mm-hmm.
and this thing is being built.
And
okay?
the business is still going. Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna give you another example. You're in Delaware speaking. You're making let's say $7K for a speech.
Okay.
In that speech, you're wearing a shirt that my company designed, and we're going to sell it for 25. So meanwhile, you're on stage, you're wearing it. I have a table outside selling the shirt for 25 a pop. You got 7 for the speech. I sold 350 shirts. Working smarter, not harder. We damn near made the same. Now I'm working even smarter. I'm not even gonna go. I'm gonna send my cousin, pay him, pay you for a sponsorship. We still pretty much made the same.
That's assuming I let you come. That's assuming I let you come to the gig in Delaware. See,
but that's what I'm saying. Assumptions. But that's what I'm saying. It wasn't the message. I got the message. It was the package. Now, if I was, and this is the thing with the false equivalencies where I think words matter. If we had the exact same target audience, right? And we were doing the exact thing. So our target audience is the same. And then we're working harder, not smarter in this other business. Fair game. But it's kind of even hard to compare if we're doing the same thing with different audiences, because still, again, it's that market. It's that, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. I just think for me, it was like, I knew exactly what you were saying. I knew exactly what you was trying to say. It got lost in
the delivery,
the packaging. Yeah.
And I knew it at the time that I sent that message to you. It happened. Like I was right here.
You was excited. I can imagine.
I was, not for the reason of, oh my God, I can't believe I just shot that.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
I heard it.
That wasn't it. When I said it wasn't the excitement, because I have shot that before. Right? Just playing around. What I was excited was I get to lead by example. Hey, bro, this is possible.
Yeah.
This is possible. Like, not so much trying to steer you in this direction, man. You need to be speaking. You need to be doing this. Stop wasting your time with that over there. What you doing over there? I've been watching. I've been paying attention, right? You know, because we're working together.
Yeah,
you know, to get it done. So I get to see a little bit more insight into it. At the same time, I believe that my boy is worth so much more than he gives himself credit for. It's back to the conversation of you need to call him Dr. Shane.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what I told somebody. It's exactly what I knew it. I knew it. And that's why I said when I read it, I couldn't even if I wanted to be offended, I couldn't, because I was like, I know exactly what this guy's talking about. Like, I know exactly. We had a conversation this week about
Yeah. Like, bro, like, you know, I can't help but to think about protecting my squad. Like, think about where we're trying to go. We know what our goals are, right? I used to want to talk you out of Alabama. Man, you got to get out of Alabama. No, stay in Alabama. That's working for you. But let's also look at what are ways that each of us, even if in that conversation we're talking about two different subjects. And I knew when you said false equivalency, I said I'm talking about one industry, he talking about the other industry is totally different. I get that. So I hope that he sees in this, which I figured you would.
I knew the message.
Point of this.
You know what's been in my mind? You know what has been in my mind probably for the last 6 months? When I first started and I was selling stuff for 12. And he was like, nah, bro, you got to come up. You got to come up. And I'm like, I'm going to sit right here. Now it's up. You see what I'm saying? So it's all in play, and it was just all it was all about the messaging and packaging. And I'm like, there's so much, I think, in our society, and I used this last season. There's so much journey shaming. Like the other day, I was talking to somebody, kid you not, and they said, you know, if you don't mind me asking, how much you make last year? And I said, I told them, and they said, I did that and barely have a high school diploma. That's the word. Said, you got health insurance? They said, nah. I said, all right, shut up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We are so quick to
Yeah.
move over there, go over there, do that. Yesterday I was in a dentist. I went to go get my teeth cleaned. Look at that. And you know, shoot, I walk in, just give them the card, go. Somebody came in to get their teeth cleaned. They had to pay $290. We make the same money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a big difference.
So let's stop. Let's stop with this. How about hey, how did that happen? How can I help you do that?
Yeah.
What can we do to be better at that?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. We're too busy just trying to make ourselves feel important and special at the cost of others. And that, I just don't ever want to be in that boat. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm not, it's not the message, because I got you. We can talk. Or even if you would have said, bro, you need to start picking up some of these type of engagements. I know you're doing that over there. You need to pick up some of these. You see what I'm saying? Changes the conversation. I could still say, nah, bro, I'm good where I'm at, but it completely changes the conversation. But when you said it, I knew exactly.
But that also wasn't that wouldn't have been the message that I was trying to send. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Because also too, as you think about long term, what doors are you potentially able to open if you can gain greater access and control of your own time? Like
100%.
Right now, I'm in this place of transit, and I think you are too. This place of transitioning from being a tactician, one who executes and does the work, to being more of a strategist, one who thinks and scales the work, right? And as you grow as a business owner, as you grow as a parent, as you grow, that's the level. When we had the previous episode about there's levels to this was a level that I didn't realize existed in the journey.
Yeah.
Didn't realize it until I got into a position where it's calling for me to be that. Oh, this is what they mean by you can't work on the business and work in the business.
Yes.
This is that level. It didn't know it had a name. And so as we have talked about and kind of mentioned to one another, hey, we should be able to do this, this, and this with the pod. Okay, how are we going to do that when I look over here and you telling me you ain't getting but 2 hours of sleep because you're being a tactician over there? Hey, bro, free up some time. That idea that we want to do with the pod is going to need more time. We can't do that if you're in the business. So come out of the business.
But okay, so that leads me to the second kind of portion. If purpose is number one, what's number two?
I've been thinking about that since you shot me that question, and I was back and forth on a couple of different things. So if purpose is number one, I settled on this morning, mindset is number two for this reason. Mindset is connected to how you see yourself, and how you see yourself has everything to do with explaining I am blank. Whatever you say you are, you are. Whatever you say you are not, you are definitely not that. So identifying your purpose is about the end goal. And I'm gonna start with the end in mind kind of person. So I see the vision, I see the destination, which is fulfilling my purpose. But if my mindset doesn't believe that that is possible, then my effort, my execution, right, my discipline, none of that will be in place. I can't execute if my mind doesn't tell me to execute. So mindset has to be number two. And you got to have the right mindset.
I was thinking the process. And it kind of works together, because when you tell me that you see that I'm up all night, is it because I made a tactical error, or is it because I made a planning error? You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it goes back to the execution of it. Like, you know, the process and the journey is gonna look different, but the ultimate goal is to get to the purpose. But I really like your answer. You might have trumped me there.
And when you said process, I'm thinking that's still after mindset, right? That's
agreed.
It's coming up in the journey, because like ultimately if your mindset pushes you and tells you, all right, just start. You ain't got to have much of a plan.
Yeah.
Let's just start. Take that first step. Okay. Now the gems you're going to get are in the process and come to appreciate the journey of heading towards the destination.
Yeah.
But before that, if that mind ain't right, you ain't gonna never get started. You ain't gonna never even get into the process, or you'll never get far enough in the process to get the gems you need out of it to make sure that you fulfill your purpose.
Gotcha.
That's where I was at. And,
no, that's that you win. So number 2 would be definitely mindset, because mindset takes care of a lot of offenses.
So then let me throw at you this. Here were some other considerations as a number 2: discipline, commitment,
mindset,
execution,
mindset.
I was like, I mean, you got to be disciplined, right? You got to be disciplined.
Yeah.
Execution. You got to execute, and you got to execute at a high level.
Yeah.
I came back to mindset.
Yeah, it's all there. It's all there. It's all there. I mean, you could even throw the process and conceiving the process under that.
Yeah, that's why I said it's towards the front of this list, like top 5.
Yeah.